One of the things that you will do as part of your professionalism score through the class is keep track of a plan of how you're going to complete the course, a course plan. So this first draft course plan, we're going to get a template set up. You're not necessarily going to have to complete everything, but you're going to get a good idea of what's going to be in the class and how you're going to score points, what grade you're trying to seek, and what the work you need to do to get that grade is going to look like. So really quickly, we'll walk through this, and you can fill this out as you do the video. Turn it in as soon as you can. It's quick and easy points, but it has to be done on time, or you're not going to get points for it. So in here, you put your name, your ID. I don't have one, so I'll do quick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's your major? Are you a computing major? Are you coming from business, something else? So whatever that is, or majors if you have more than one, put those in there. And then here, the target grade. And you're going to use the drop-down feature, ABC, over here. I don't think anybody's shooting for a D. And in this class, D is basically if you score 600 points, get the passing part of it, but have a very low professionalism score. The low professional score might impact your grade in other ways too, but I'm hoping nobody really does this. So I'm hoping there'll be no reduction because of professionalism. But in general, there's plenty of ways to make up for that, but just by getting it above these thresholds. So say I want to shoot for a B in the class. I might do that because I don't really think I'm going to get time to dedicate to it. It's a busy semester. Let's just say that's what it looks like as opposed to an A. So here, I want you to think about what is your goal out of this class? Is it just simply to get the passing grade because you want a CS minor and you don't really care about data structures, but there's other aspects you want? Hey, a B is fine. If you really want to major in this, it's really important to you. You really want to know all the ins and outs of this stuff, then say that, and then think about for that, what is your priority in the class? Is this going to be your top class? This is going to be the class you go to first when homework is due at the end of a week. By the way, it's not. But how does that play into the type of choices you might have to make later on if something needs to be done in both classes? As I said, there's a lot of flexibility I give in my system. It doesn't mean you should be blowing off this class week after week. You should really be looking at, and this course plan will help you look at, where you stand and are you keeping up and are you doing the things you need to do to learn it? Because if you want to learn it deeply, you probably should be working on it frequently, not just coming back to it when it's convenient. And so that comes into this question of how much are you going to work in the class. You have it built in. This class meets Tuesday nights for 3 hours, or Saturdays for 2 hours, or Monday and Friday for an hour and a half, or whatever it's going to be in any given term. This term I'm recording it for, we meet Tuesday nights. I may or may not re-record this between each term, but you have that built in. This is going to be evening class. So is that how you're going to do all week? Is that the only time you're going to spend? Or am I going to say, well, on Monday night before everything's due, I'm going to do 5 hours of homework evening? Well, that's a terrible way to learn. It can get you through a class. You can do enough to get through a class, but if you really want to learn stuff, you should be doing it multiple times a week. Having one block of a bunch of time right there, not a great plan. So you might have an hour here, which is cleanup. You can do it in the afternoon. You can even say afternoon cleanup. And then, maybe I take a day off after class, but then I come back here and say 2 hours, which is start. Let's do complete homework because you'll have chance. You should start it in class if you haven't done it by then. Homework morning. So I want to get an idea of when you're going to do it as well. And then maybe Saturday you're going to spend 2 hours hard homework afternoon, and then maybe you'll spend 3 hours in the Sunday evening. Reading and videos for the next week. So maybe you don't have to stick to this schedule. It's not something you have to track yourself perfectly every single week, but this should give you an idea of what habits you want to build throughout the course. You're going to be dealing with this class for 2.5, 3 months. So hopefully, instead of just simply dealing with it, you can embrace it. You can lean into the idea of I want to frequently and deeply look at these materials. I want to build up my expertise a little bit at a time, and by doing it repeatedly, it's going to give my subconscious a chance to absorb these ideas and play with it. So notice here, as I put these in, I'm going to end up with a number. This number should be at least 10 hours through the week, ideally 12. The way I view it as is this is not, I don't know if I've ever seen this formally at DePaul, but I know at Purdue, where I went for my graduate school, the idea was for every credit hour, you spent 1 hour in class and 3 hours outside of class. That was the target. So for 3 credit hour class, you'd spend about 12 hours on that class. One in class, three outside of it. And that should be the target here. Doesn't mean you're going to do that every week. There might be some weeks you get off light. There might be some weeks you go heavy. Um, my goal is to let you balance that however you want to. If you have a light week and you want to work ahead, you should have the option to be able to do that. Or if you want to catch up based off of not being able to finish a heavy week the week before, you should be able to do that if you have a light week coming up. And there are some somewhat light weeks scheduled into this as well. So that's what the bottom half is going to be. So the bottom half is not something you have to worry about intensely now, but this shows you the week of class, the date that week starts, just to kind of help centralize what I mean by that, so you know when that week starts on the calendar. And this is the main topic, maybe not the only topic, and things might span slightly in one week into the other depending on how things go. But this is the main topic that we're going to start in any given week, and you might take more time on a topic. You might start a topic early, as I said. Um, so the first thing is, as far as professionalism goes, we have a status report starting week 2 all the way through week 10. So there's 9 of them, and you can earn 5 points per status report. I put as a guess here that maybe you might miss 3 of them. Hopefully you don't miss any of them, but let's just say you only get 2 out of 3 of them done for whatever reason. That gives you enough points to be able to pass the class. I'm assuming that you're going to get all the rest of these professionalism things in, the draft course plan, which you're working on now, the quiz, which you had to do to open up the rest of the class, updates to the course plan, the interviews, this sort of stuff. You'll get it done. You'll have at least 100 professionalism points. There might be a few more that you earn along the way, so you can do a little bit better than that. But that is basically 1 in 6 points that is coming up for the passing grade. But we said we want to get a B, which gives us 700 points. So we got to do a little bit better than that. So if we just take the scores that are on here, we'll only end up with 610 points. So we need to plan ahead to do more. So how we do that is you can look through the assignments. These are the number of points that are earned on each assignment. This first week, you have a baseline task, which I'm only asking you to do a minimum of 10 points. Now, this minimum needs to be done across the board. I can't just skip trees and do a bunch of work in other spots and leave this class not knowing anything about trees. That doesn't work, or any other topic. You need to do at least the minimum on each one of these topics. But beyond that, if you only did, for instance, this first week, we'll be looking at 2 different potential introductory assignments, just a baselining assignment. If you do both of them, you can get 30 additional points right here. And they're pretty quick and easy. You can probably do each of them in about an hour or less a piece. So you can end up getting 30 additional points right that way. This next week, we're going to be looking at using maps. Well, I'm asking you for 50 points. You can do up to 125. So there's extra 75 points here. Each of these assignments then has a minimum and a maximum. And as of the time of recording this, I'm not sure what the graph maximum is going to look like. I haven't 100% decided that. This is my first time teaching this, so I'm kind of deciding exactly how deep we're going to go, though I do have the basics spec'd out. We'll see where it goes based off of the next month of everything and how everything goes and how deep we're going to go there. And then we'll talk about it more later. We're going to have kind of this dynamic team project that'll make up the last few weeks, that you're going to be able to dive into a subject of your choice with a few other people and build some code, do a presentation, and be able to share some different ideas. And that's going to be worth a lot of points in this class. You can see there's 180 points that are quote unquote due the last week of class, with some supporting points coming up to them. But these these points right here, that makes up a third of the passing grade almost. I mean, a quarter of your final grade, much like a final exam would. But in this case, you'll be able to work with others and build up to that as time goes. So you can plan to that accordingly. And notice again, I'm only estimating you're going to get 100 out of 150 and 50 out of 100 of these scores. So if you do the whole project, you do the whole presentation, there's an additional 100 points right there. So these points are intentionally at a minimum to pass. And so there's 400 points here. Well, there's more than 600 points available, close to 700 points available. So to get if you're shooting for an A, we'll pop up here. See, an A is 800 points. So if I change this to an A, to get your 800 points you need for an A, there's probably 300 or 400 points available in addition to the 600 points listed here that you can go off and earn. So you'll have some choices, and you'll have some flexibility. But with those choices and flexibility, it requires a little bit of additional planning. And this document is going to be your source for being able to know, are you on track? Because you can just look right here. I need 800 points. I've scheduled 600 points, so I'm this far behind. If at any different point you say you get 3 weeks in the class, you say 7, and you haven't earned any more than the targeted points, well, now I need to be earning 87 points a week. If you get down to the last 2 weeks and you're only at 600 points, well, you're going to have to earn 300 points a week to make that happen. And remember, that's already projecting in the points you plan to earn right there. So you have to figure out what you have earned versus what you plan to earn. And we'll deal with that in more of the updates later on. But this gives you a sense for how you'll be able to use this tool to track your progress in the course later on. All right, so take a shot at this, fill it out, submit it. The most important thing is fill out the top half. I want to see some good details inside of the times and the time frames. This should be an appropriate number here. I want you to spend more than a tiny bit reflecting on these. Don't give me 5 or 10 words. There should be a couple sentences on each of these at least to think about what you want to do. And then this basic demographic information up there. And that's all we need for now.